Thanks again. I thought I might just start out with first saying, this document had gone through many iterations, and at one of its more final iterations, I shared the document with my entire staff, and received some comments from, some of my more seasoned water commissioners that have been around quite a while, and I think the general comment was, wow, it was still pretty deep. They had to read it several times to really get hold of all of it and understand everything that was trying to be conveyed. This document has been really pared down quite a bit since that. I do think it's a much more readable document, and I really hope it's a readable, understandable document for the public. So, one of our goals is to try to get this document out to the public so that they can understand the abandonment process, why it occurs, change in water rights, the value of the water right as it relates to its consumptive use, and all other aspects of this whole use it or lose it perception that we have. But in addition to educating the public, we also really want to bring this to our own staff at various staff meetings to make sure that we're all seeing from the same sheet of music, that we all understand the abandonment process, the position we take, the value of the water right again as it relates to consumptive use. And one reason we really want to do this was because at the onset of this Use It or Lose It committee, it was brought to our attention that there were some water commissioners out there that maybe weren't saying the same things that the rest of us would be telling their water users. For example, water commissioners encouraging their water users to divert all the water they could to avoid abandonment. While there was other water users saying you can't waste water, we're going to curtail you if you're wasting water, so only divert what you can, beneficial use. So definitely, some conflicts in what one water commissioner might be saying compared to another. So as an overall agency, we want to make sure that people, both public and I think, maybe most of our water commissioners already know this, but we do want them to understand the abandonment process, how to avoid your water right being put on the abandonment process, but also instilling upon them that you cannot waste water and that converting water in excess of your need will not result in an additional consumptive use value associated with that water right. In Division 6, especially on our main stems, we have water is plentiful, and we undoubtedly have diversions in excess of need. And our division aims to start taking a closer look at this wasted water and curtailing where we see some very obvious waste occurring. And I think in that process, while we're doing that, it's just imperative that we educate these water users that wasting of water does not provide value to their water right. So I also just want to touch real quickly, in my experience working through the 2010 abandonment process, one thing I learned about water right owners is they're very emotional about their water rights. They feel that the water rights have a tremendous amount of value, used or not. And it was a very difficult conversation to have with the water users that, felt again that there was a value to their water right, yet there was portions of it that they had never used. They just didn't have the capability of carrying the water right. Which again is, I think, another aspect of just educating water right owners that if you don't divert your water, can't divert your water, never have diverted your water, it is going to be subject to abandonment. But I also, this is something I spoke at 2 different conservation district meetings last week, and something I instilled upon them to understand and keep in mind is there was no legislative intent ever for the state of Colorado to be taking away something from a water right owner that had value that could be put to beneficial use. That's not the intent. We don't ever intend to abandon water right that has value. So I just wanted to put that out there. And then just lastly touching on something that Kevin mentioned. I had a water user who actually owns a tremendous amount of land in Route County and Moffett County in my area, and a lot of water rights. Come to me one time. He's an absentee owner of this land. He lives in California. And he was disappointed at the fact that the state of Colorado promoted inefficiency. And I don't know how many people out there feel that way, but it's another aspect that we need to change. We can't allow people to think that we promote inefficiency because of our planning process. So hopefully that's something we can change, both using this document just for education. So ultimately, I'd like to open it up to this group to think about how do we start to educate people? How do we get this document out to our water users and helping them understand it? And I do think too, in the process of kind of where do we go from here on this document, I think we really do need to try to somehow dampen this phrase, use it or lose it. Whether, like Kevin said, we come up with another phrase, use it, keep it, had been tossed out there. And one that I love, that was tossed out there during our meetings, and for which I now have a sign on my door: beneficial use is the golden goose. Yes, it's a white goose laying a golden egg. It's a picture on my door. So, I think that we really do need to somehow, again, dampen this phrase, use it or lose it, come up with a better phrase that represents our process. And again, just start to get out there and educate people. So I think I'll open that up for any comments as to, thoughts on where you think we can go from here, and any questions.